Whole life insurance, properly designed, is an extremely powerful tool. We're going to look at just a very basic sample of what a whole life insurance policy could look like. Now, all of this is relative. This can all be designed for you. This is just an example, so you don't need to assume this is the way that whole life insurance works. This is just an example, but I think it shows just with a generic whole life insurance policy what whole life can do at a glance. So, this is a policy on a 35-year-old male. We're paying a $25,000 annual premium until age 64, and then roughly a $12,000 premium from age 65 onward. And here's a summary of how the values of the policy grow. Again, this is generic. This certainly doesn't encompass all the benefits that come with whole life insurance. And more importantly, it's not covering what use case are we applying the whole life insurance policy for. But this is just looking at a sample policy. So in this example, we start with a $1.6 million death benefit. That is a guaranteed result. So when you start paying this premium, you are now guaranteed to be worth $1.6 million, dead or alive, at some point in the future. By age 45, so 10 years into the policy, we paid $250,000 in premiums into the policy. Yeah, we already have $286,000 of cash value in the policy. So we have more cash in the policy than premiums we have paid in. So this is effectively a policy that more than pays for itself. 10 years later, at age 55, we've paid $500,000 in premiums into the policy. We now have $824,000 of cash value and a $2 million permanent death benefit. So because we're being paid interest and dividends, our cash value and our death benefit grow over time. This is a growing asset. By age 65, we paid $737,000 into the policy. We now have $1.7 million in cash value and a $3 million death benefit. This is the age at which the premium drops down. That gets into some details of case design I'm not going to go into, but the premium drops down from $25,000 to $12,000. Then by age 75, we've paid $856,000 in premiums into the policy. We now have $3.1 million in cash value and a $4.3 million death benefit. And if we play it all the way out to age 85, which, by the way, this policy would continue beyond that, it's a permanent policy. It stays in force until the day you die, but we just projected it out to age 85 here. You've paid $975,000 into the policy over the course of roughly 50 years. You have a $5.3 million cash value balance available to you and a $6.3 million death benefit. And there's a whole lot of things we could go into, but this, I think, shows how whole life insurance can grow in a way that most people are not aware of. Most people are not aware that whole life insurance even exists as a financial asset. They're not aware of how it works, and they're not aware of the tremendous benefits of it. Or worse, they're only aware of it in caricature, because there are people who are opposed to whole life insurance, mainly because of it seems to be against their religion, from what I can tell. So notice how the passage of time is so important, how this policy gets better every single year it's in force. There are a lot of reasons for that. One is just mathematical, compound interest. If you think about an exponential compound interest curve, it gets better every year, right? It gets better over time. Also, with whole life insurance, the costs in the policy are front loaded. So the early years are where you're paying most of the costs, whereas in the later years, we have maximum efficiency because all the costs have been paid, right? So notice in the first 2 years, you see your cash value grow from zero. I'm sorry, in the first 10 years, you see your cash value grow from zero to $286,000. So you had $286,000 of cash value growth. And then if we look in the last 10 years in this example, from age 75 to age 85, notice your cash value grew from $3.1 million to $5.3 million. That's a $2.2 million growth in your cash value over a 10-year time frame. So this just shows you how these policies get more efficient every year they're in force. The first year is the worst year from a cash value standpoint. It's the best year from a death benefit standpoint. The best year is the last year from a cash value standpoint. So whole life ages like a fine wine. And all of this is done with no downside risk and no taxation, just peace of mind. We are not taking on any market risk. All this happens based on actuarial math. We're not betting on the S&P 500. Why would you not want to have at least a portion of your money in an asset like this that is guaranteed? I'll say that again. This asset is guaranteed. It is not necessary to take on market risk in order to grow your capital.